especially in the holidays. So like you said, having opportunities to read at different parts of the day. I mean, that's the luxury, isn't it? It's nice to have a holiday and be like, you know what, we go to the car every morning to see grandma or whoever it might be. Could you read to me then? The radio's not working. Can you tell me a bit about what you're reading? Or having those conversations about books or what you're reading about is really important too.
And showing them, oh, isn't this nice? Hello again, Jess.
Nice to be back again.
So great to see you for another Talking Teachers episode. No, I love it, honestly. I've really enjoyed all of our chats and the top tips that we've sort of come up with together. And today I'm thinking about the sort of, for want of a better term, the holiday brain drain. I know it's something from working with lots of schools throughout my career, how much teachers worry about the sort of lost learning, I suppose, from where the children are at the end of a half term or a term, and then where they are when they come back, and that sort of fallback. So is there anything that we can do as schools to help set children up for the best possible sort of time off from school? Obviously it's not going to be, we don't want them to be doing lots of learning, we want them to have a break, but can we do anything to sort of set children and families up to minimise that lost learning or that fallback? What do you think?
I think it's such an interesting one, isn't it? Because as teachers we do there is a little bit of panic. All that hard work you've put into the teaching and the children's learning, and they're doing so well, and then they have a break from their learning, which is understandable. You know, when you're on holiday half term, your routines have gone. You know, it is a change, and that's just perfectly normal. Your routines have changed a lot. You might have more family outings, you might have more things going on, later bedtimes, you know, all those things do take a toll on the child. I mean, it is a bit overstimulating, sensory overload. So as teachers, the best thing we can it's such a simple thing, but advising parents and saying, look, it's being honest. We understand you're going to have a half term. However, if you can, in the morning, can we make sure your children are still doing a couple of things to give them top tips? You know, we've spoken before about how easy it is to incorporate writing and reading into a daily lifestyle. It doesn't have to be a sit down, formal, read a book for 15 minutes and your parents kind of monitor and listen. It could be helping you write the shopping list. It could be helping you read a recipe. There are so many different ways that children could kind of help you. Instruction manuals for a new toy. You're going to buy a new toy. Can you help me build it? You know, it's trying to make sure that they have still exposure to reading and writing, and giving the children opportunities to incorporate that daily. I think it's that small, little and often approach towards it. Yeah,
I definitely think little and often, and it's like you say, it's sort of habitually incorporating little reading and writing challenges throughout the day that are just part of your life. And we don't want parents to have to sit down and do a sort of a week of schooling. That's not what we're suggesting at all.
Not a worksheet.
No, exactly. That's not what we're sort of suggesting, I don't think. But it's just trying to think of ways to give parents top tips, I guess, for the home and what they can do. I always think quite often during term time, parents will sit and listen to their children reading at bedtime. Well, I don't know. I know that's what I've always done with my own children. It's it's the most common time. You've had dinner, you've had the bath, you got into pyjamas. Now let's read.
Yeah.
I think the holidays are a really good opportunity actually to read at other times in the day as well. Like if you do want to do a little bit of reading of a book that you're sharing together every day, because quite often at night time it can be a bit of a chore. Everyone's tired, but there's little other opportunity during term time. But actually it's a nice opportunity to still read every day with your child, but just that instead of it being a bedtime story, you could do a sort of first thing in the morning after breakfast, just still in your PJs on the sofa, get out a book when the child might be sort of a bit more, you know, alert and have more stamina for reading or listening to a book. So I think in some ways it's keep on doing what you're doing as you're supporting them all the time with their schoolwork at home, but with reading in particular. But maybe it's actually nice to be able to, in the holidays, to be able to don't lose the routine. But if you're going to bed late, and I know what it's like in the half term, just do it at another time of day.
Yeah, trying to make it easy and accessible and interesting, not to feel like a chore. We don't want reading to feel like a chore, because why are you going to want it? If you've been out all day and you're exhausted, I mean, the last thing I sometimes feel like doing at bedtime is to read, because quite often I speak to, you know, my friends and they're reading at night and they say, oh, I fall asleep within 5 minutes, because you're so tired, especially in the holidays. So like you said, having opportunities to read at different parts of the day. I mean, that's the luxury, isn't it? It's nice to have a holiday and be like, you know what, we go to the car every morning to see grandma or whoever it might be. could you read to me then? The radio's not working. Can you tell me a bit about what you're reading? Or having those conversations about books or what you're reading about is really important too.
And showing them, oh, isn't this nice? We can read any time. That's quite a nice thing.
It doesn't have to be school or evening. It can be any time and accessible at any point in the day.
Yeah, and I feel like something we touched on in a previous podcast, it's sort of giving parents as well sort of things, ideas for things that they could read with their children, whether it is a storybook or whether it's getting that they've been reading before or getting something new in, like you say, or recipes or whatever. It's maybe providing parents with lists, little ideas of things that they can do.
Definitely.
To keep up. It's just the practice, isn't it? We're not expecting parents to move children's learning on. It's just keeping up the habit. It's like those reading miles. It's just the more that you read, the easier reading is.
Yes.
We don't necessarily expect parents to have to be the teacher.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a break.
Yeah.
But just keeping up the practice of reading, keeping up that sort of daily, regular routine, I think is going to help children no end when they come back.
I think, like you said, it's so key that the point of it's used, as you've said earlier, it's not about it's excelling the learning or progressing the learning. It's just about maintaining the skill set that they've had and that muscle memory to keep their brain exercised and working throughout. Because quite often, if you're not working that muscle, by the time you go back to school, it's going to be hard work. It's going to be exhausting. And they will get back into it a bit like riding a bike. But it's just a lot harder for your child. So to make life easier for you and for teachers working with parents, and to make teachers' lives easier when the children come back, because they will be tired. They've had a break, their routines are off, their evening routines have totally changed, and they go to bed later. Having opportunities.
Same as the teachers, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. You are exhausted.
It all takes us all a little bit of adjustment, doesn't it, to get back into the groove after a holiday.
And just having a bit of time to be like, actually, give your parents top tips on how they can maintain reading in a exciting fun way, and writing, using the skills that they've got from their reading, imaginative learning. If you're doing some role play, can we do a map? Can we write checkpoints on the map?
I love that idea.
Make it, it doesn't have to be sitting down with a book or write me a story. Let's make it quick and simple. Let's make it achievable. Ask your children to go on a treasure hunt. And as teachers, there's simple things that we've done in the past to kind of encourage this and to make it kind of interwoven into a holiday is we might do a homework. We might not call it homework, but it's like we call it a my way homework, where you get to show your learning my way. So you might be talking to the cameras, you might want to do a video, you might want to write a poem, you might want to do a news article or a comic strip, but saying, share with us, what did you do over the holidays?
That's a nice one.
And they can do it my way and share how they've done it. But in the holidays, parents have come back, and the feedback we've had from parents is saying, that was such a good homework because it worked into our holiday.
Yeah.
We could do it any way the child wanted to. They wanted to do it because they could be creative, and they were sharing their learning. And because they had to record in one form or another their holiday or their experiences of holiday, they were still learning, they were still reading, they were still talking to parents, because they had to have those conversations about what will you include in your holiday, and different ways of recording it. It's just a really nice platform and opportunity for children to kind of showcase their learning, but their way. But it helps with that routine. It helps with engaging that muscle memory. So things like that are a really good
I think that's great. And again, giving parents those top tips. You could write a diary, you could write some postcards or whatever of your holiday. I think that's a lovely thing to do. And also, there are plenty of opportunities out there to practice your learning through games, through toys, through apps, as we know. We've got Word Tag. And Ridiculous, helping children Ridiculous with their phonics, and Word Tag with vocabulary. And those sorts of games give children a chance to have fun, but keep up that learning going as well. So it's sort of making sure that parents are aware of the games that are available, which are actually educational and good value, and that it's sort of safe and certified, and the children are going to and backed by science. So for a fact that whilst the child is playing, they are also keeping up that daily practice and that learning. So I definitely think recommending apps like Word Tag, like Ridiculous, to keep children practicing
because you can do it on the go as well. You know, you can do it
Yes.
anywhere. It's, you know, if you do have an app at your fingertips and it is some, you know, it might be a way to get your child. If you've got a reluctant learner, it might be another way to get them to engage a little bit whilst they're off, because mentally we all switch off, don't we? In the holidays, we all want to have that downtime. But if you could do it, you know, it's kind of thinking outside the box of how to get children to learn. We don't want them to learn by sitting at a table writing or reading. That isn't the way they're going to learn. We've got to tap into what's going to engage that child. So if it's an app like the word tag app, knowing that they could do 20 minutes a day and that could make a big difference, that's the way forward.
I totally agree, because children do need a break from the sort of formal structure of learning as much as anyone needs a break from, you know, we all need a holiday from time to time, don't we, and the children as well. Something else I was sort of thinking of is, you know, what can we sort of set in place for children for when they come back to school? Maybe we could say to them, you know, when you come back, we're going to be sharing, you know, about books that we've read, or we're going to be, you know, making little sort of almost give children something themselves that they know when they come back to school they're going to be feeding back on. So it could be their holiday journal, it could be something they've created doing the My Way approach, but it could be little tasks that you've set them as well from school, things that you want them to find out about. You know, you might, if you're doing the topic after half term is going to be outer space, you could do something like, oh, I wonder if you could find out. It doesn't matter, you could do that My Way approach, but link to what they're about to learn when they come back. So it could be also about any way that you want to research and find out about space, you know, whatever that is, whether you're reading something online, whether you're reading a book about it, whether you're, you know, whatever it is, anything to help them keep up that learning or a bit of pre-learning for the topic, you know. And if they can, as long as they can do it in their own way, then they're still sort of thinking about their learning, but maybe doing it in a slightly more fun, informal way. So setting little challenges for them to do over the holiday that will best prepare them for when they come back.
Definitely. And it's having those, like you said, like opportunities to be the teacher, you know, at any age group loves to be the teacher. So to share their experiences, to share their learning, if it's outer space, and just before you broke up, you're saying, right, this is what we're learning about next, to kind of like that hook for learning we've spoken about in previous podcasts, you know, hooking the children in by saying that this is what we're going to learn about, give them a bit of a trailer as to what we could be visiting on our learning journey, and then saying to the children, right, if you can do anything about this, can you teach me something that I don't know? Like,
see what you can find out.
Learn a new word about space that I might not know, and then teach your peers it. When you come back, I want you could select a few children who felt, you know, who you want to push, who you know might struggle over the holidays. So you could say to 5 children, I want you to find 5 different, or a word each, but that's 5 different words for the whole class to benefit from, linked to the topic of outer space.
Oh, lovely. How exciting.
Come back and then teach each other it, and then you'll learn.
Tell us what those words mean. So great. So I think those little incentives as well are quite nice to sort of get children, you know, in their own free time, they can still be passionate about a topic they're about to start in school. I think that's lovely.
It's getting that excitement into their learning, isn't it? And I think it's, especially before a holiday, it's an opportunity for you as a teacher to say, right, this is what we will be learning about. It helps them kind of see what's coming up in the future. And they might go home and say to the parents, you know what, we're learning about space. They might go to the Space Centre over the holidays. You know.
Wow, that would be great.
It would be great. Every teacher's wish.
We'd all love that. Thank you so much, Jess. I think we've come up with some really good ideas there. You know, when children do invariably, they do sort of catch up much more quickly, don't they? You sort of worry about the lost learning, but actually then you see them rapidly getting back up to where they were. But still, it's something that I think all teachers do worry about, and we can definitely put little sort of tips in place for our parents.
Definitely. Have your bank of tips ready. And if you think about each time you've got a holiday or a half term, think, right, what 5 things or 3 things or 2 things made a difference to the children when they came back? Because ultimately it makes your life easier as a teacher.
Of course it does.
And it makes the learning better for the children and the parents. So win-win.
Win-win, definitely. Thank you so much for joining me again today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. And I will see you next time.
See you soon.
See you.